Prime Minister Narendra Modi targeted the Congress manifesto for minorityism. He said that if Congress comes to power, it will distribute people's property, land and gold to infiltrators and those who have more children, hinting at Muslims. Prime Minister quoted former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's statement made in 2006 that Muslims have the first right to the country's resources. Let's listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। भाइयों बहनों, ये अर्बन नक्सल की सोच मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगलसूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे, यहां तक जाएंगे, मैं कहने आया हूं।
Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had constituted the Sacha Committee to study the condition of Muslims in India and found that the condition of the Muslims in country was worse off than the ST and SC community. However, the recommendations of the committee weren't implemented. Let's listen to former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh as to what he said.
We need to be revitalized. We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on our resources.
So why has Prime Minister Modi resorted to statements which are polarizing when he is sure of his guarantee? Is it an indication that guarantee may not be working and he needs to bring emotional issues at the center? Like Shamshan Ghat and Kabristan jibe of 2017 during Uttar Pradesh assembly elections. So that's the heart of our debate. And on this, I am joined by Nikhil Jain, advocate and a political analyst, KV Prasad, senior journalist, Suresh Kochtal, political analyst, and in studio, my input editor, Brijesh Pandey. Brijesh, can you please frame the debate for us?
Well, I think, the flavor is back within quotes. The fact is that, this was something which was conspicuous by its absence in the first phase, electioneering of the first phase. But I think, the BJP has realized that, that they have to return to, a situation, or they have returned to a narration which will suit them politically, and this is the reason why this particular remark by Prime Minister. I personally don't think that situation should be such where a government which has been in power, which is absolute majority for 10 years, should be resorting to this kind of these kind of statements targeting the Muslim community and portraying them as infiltrators or someone who produces more children or not. It's absolutely pejorative and bad in taste. But we know how elections are fought in India, and I think you very rightly pointed out that post Shamshan Kabristan, now it is the the Ghuspaitiya versus the first claim on the natural resources. The Congress completely debunks this claim. They say that what Prime Minister has said doesn't hold true, but this is what the BJP is saying right now.
Let me go to KV Prasad. KV, is it because of the guarantee not working as an emotional or not connecting emotionally with the BJP's core electorate? Modi ki guarantee. Why would someone change the pitch if one is so strongly placed? I mean to say, today
Absolutely.
BJP has already won a seat. They have won Surat.
Yeah, Kartika, I think the fact is, this is a question that everybody is now looking at as to why after the phase one of polling, did this issue come back on the table, or why was this issue brought back onto the electoral contestation? So obviously, one of the factors could be that either the results, notwithstanding what they have said, the kind of feedback that the BJP and its campaign managers have got, that some of the points that they have been raising in the phase one of the elections, in the campaign of phase one, has probably not gained traction to the extent possible that they would have expected it to make that in which your guarantees cards do play in a play, because Prime Minister is also harping upon the fact that many of these guarantees are already rolling out and people are experiencing out of it. So there is no gainsaying the fact that people are not aware of what the guarantees mean and how they can play out. Yet to have brought back this issue, I think your colleague Brajesh has also made this point. At this point of time, to bring it back on the table, obviously BJP does not want to lose one of its core constituents and the core appeals that it's always been known for. I think that's probably that's the only way I can look at it at present.
Okay. I'm also joined by Nikhil Jain. You know, Nikhil, when we talk about the core vote of Bharatiya Janata Party, is the core vote remains unchanged? Sometimes the core vote changes with the party which is in power with full majority. So it means what we call the core of Bharatiya Janata Party vote remains organized around Hindutva. So market, mobile, Labharti and development is the periphery.
So see, personally, I feel that there is certainly that segment of the BJP voter that likes to see the Prime Minister making such rabid comments and indulge in such sort of hate speech and things like that. But I honestly do believe that a large section of the BJP voters, perhaps a majority of the BJP voters, have voted for the Prime Minister in 2014 and 19, either on the back of his welfare schemes or on the dreams that he's been able to tell them, whether it's the bullet trains, doubling of farmer incomes, Viksit Bharat, this and that. I don't think that the average Indian, no matter which party they support, likes to engage in this. And there's an interesting thing that your viewers must note about the Prime Minister making this hate speech yesterday, that a couple of days ago he was saying, Bhai Mohammad Shami ne World Cup mein bahut acha kaam kara aur hamari sarkar ne unhe saraha. 2 days later, 3 days later, he engages in the sort of commentary that you've shown. Yet today, he's saying that my government is going to send our Muslim Bhai Bahan to Hajj. So this constant, this ups and downs in the way the Prime Minister is talking about the Muslim community, to me shows that at this point, even the BJP is confused that do they want to run a rabidly communal campaign or do they want to talk about issues of welfare and development? Because honestly, now this government has been in play for the past 10 years, and a lot of the promises that they made, they have failed to deliver on them, which is why even the average voter is not going to have a lot of trust factor when the Prime Minister tells them that 2047 you'll have a developed country or this or that, because they've seen the Prime Minister's delivery in the past 10 years. I'm not saying it's been zero, but it is certainly nowhere close to what the Prime Minister likes to portray it as, and it certainly has been below what the UPA government was able to do, and there are a number of metrics to support that. So I think I agree with the previous panelists to a certain extent that these remarks like these by the Prime Minister are a show of desperation by the BJP. And what's more worrisome for the country at large is how is the Election Commission of India, sitting silent and completely sleeping on this. This is not just a model code of conduct violation. This is very clearly hate speech. This is inciting communities against each other. Forget what the Congress does or Congress manifesto does. My Prime Minister cannot go up the stage and, try to incite the majority community against a minority community in this fashion. It's horrible that the Election Commission is choosing to not do anything about it. The Supreme Court is choosing to not do anything about it. But I think the voters are going to answer this.
Okay, but Nikhil, this brings us to the second part of our conversation. The second part of the conversation is Labharti as a politics or a policy practiced by Bharatiya Janata Party is community neutral, it's agnostic, community agnostic. But the fact is, when the leading luminaries of Bharatiya Janata Party repeat a message, like a dog whistle message, does it tell us that BJP, is it still trapped in its old vote bank? Despite professing to expand both socially and politically, it has not been able to change the DNA of those which they say constitutes the core voter of Bharatiya Janata Party. Congress launched a sharp attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and termed his remark as hate speech. The Congress has also complained to the Election Commission of India. Let's listen into Mallikarjun Kharge's spite.
कौन सा मुस्लिम लीग का इशू है उसमें? सबको, सब महिला को 1-1 लाख रुपए सालाना देना, ये मुस्लिम लीग का है प्रोग्राम? युवाओं को नौकरी देना, ट्रेनिंग देना, और उनको 1 लाख रुपए ट्रेनिंग के लिए देना, ये मुस्लिम लीग का है। और किसानों के लिए हम उनकी लीगल गारंटी MSP पे करेंगे, ये क्या किसानों का, ये क्या मुस्लिम लीग का है? SC ST को और बैकवर्ड्स को जो बैकलॉग है और जो सरकार वैकेंसी है वो फिलअप करने के लिए हमने वायदा किया, क्या वो मुस्लिम लीग का है? बोलो आप कौन सा मुस्लिम लीग का है? अरे 25 गारंटी हमने जो दी सबके लिए दिए हैं, गरीब के लिए है, महिला के लिए है, युवाओं के लिए है, दलित के लिए है, सबके लिए हमने दिया है। और जो चीजें सबको मिलते हैं वो हर एक को मिलता है।
And in my opinion, Bharatiya Janata Party also tried some damage control. Let's listen in to the Prime Minister.
कांग्रेस, सपा जैसी पार्टियों ने हमेशा तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति की और मुसलमानों के राजनीतिक, सामाजिक, आर्थिक उत्थान के लिए कभी कुछ नहीं किया। और जब मैं पसमानदा मुसलमानों की मुसीबत की चर्चा करता हूं तो इनके बाल खड़े हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि ये ऊपर के लोगों ने मलाई खाई है और ये पसमानदा मुसलमानों को भी उसी हालत में जीने के लिए इन लोगों ने मजबूर कर दिया है। साथियों, इसी क्षेत्र में 3 तलाक से पीड़ित कितनी ही बेटियों का जीवन तबाह हो गया था। और सिर्फ बेटियों का नहीं, और 3 तलाक के कारण मुसीबत में आई उस बेटी, उसके पिता, भाई, परिवार सब परेशान हो जाते थे। अब मोदी ने 3 तलाक के खिलाफ कानून बनाकर उनका जीवन भी सुरक्षित किया है। पहले हज कोटा कम होने की वजह से कितनी मारामारी होती थी, उसमें भी रिश्वतखोरी चलती थी और ज्यादातर रसूखदार लोग ही हज जाने का मौका पाते थे। मैंने सऊदी अरब के क्राउन प्रिंस से आग्रह किया था कि हमारे भारत के मुसलमान भाई बहनों के लिए हज का कोटा बढ़ाएं। आज न सिर्फ भारत का हज का कोटा बढ़ा है, बल्कि वीजा नियमों को भी आसान बनाया गया है।
So, the question is this going to cut ice with the Muslim electorate?
See, Karthik, it's a very strange situation, you know, when I remember I was there in Hyderabad, you know, when first Prime Minister made this outreach to Pasmanda Muslims, and then we went on to do a detailed story on that.
Prime Minister Modi 4 minutes ago has tweeted, कांग्रेस SP जैसी पार्टियों ने हमेशा तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति की और पसमंदा मुसलमानों को इनके हाल पर जीने के लिए छोड़ दिया। हमने 3 तलाक। That is it going to cut ice?
No, but the thing is that, you know, when we went there to do stories in Lucknow, they agreed that, you know, that the Labharti schemes they are getting were religious agnostic. It was not like, you know, that since they are Muslims, they are not being given that. But the pain was there when, you know, when the Pasmanda Muslims said that, boss, when the BJP cadre, BJP worker or leaders, you know, when they taunt us with, they say pancherwalas and so on and so forth. Kehta, it is us, the Pasmandas, who are the pancherwalas. Kehta, the elite of the Muslim community, they never have to do these kind of, you know, menial jobs, or they are not confined to this perpetual state of misery. They are completely well off. So I think BJP is targeting to make a reach out to Pasmanda Muslims, yet they are also at the receiving end when it comes to crossfire by BJP cadre or BJP leader, which is a very strange paradox.
Mr. Prasad, has Bharatiya Janata Party lost a golden opportunity to expand beyond its core base, or is it too traumatized by what happened in 2004 to let go of what it thinks is the core constituency?
Well, I think the fact is BJP does not want to let go of the core constituency which you're referring to. I mean, why let them fritter away? Why them sit at home? Keep them engaged. While you keep experimenting and trying to expand your social base, your basis among other community, you refer to whether it is a Pasmanda Muslims or other factors, Labartis and so on and so forth. Yet, I think there is a bit of an irony when I was recalling while your colleague was speaking. When you refer to Hajj, remember there have been voices throughout which talks about why is subsidy being given to Hajj travel. Now, this is something, a narrative that has been coming on and off from the majority community people and particularly belonging to a particular party. Now, that again goes against to show that there is a certain method that they have, and they will not like to give that particular aspect to up. Number one. Number two, as I said, elections are a constant effort to try and see where else can we get the votes from. And in this, the BJP, as I said, would not like to lose its core voter base at all.
You are saying that it boils down to the fact that it's not core voter which is addicted to this issue, it's BJP leadership which doesn't want these issues to leave the core voters because ultimately it leads to higher mobilization.
Well, today, for instance, I think there has been a BJP leader's clip which I saw a little while ago, where he is repeating or rather pointing out to the fact that what the Prime Minister said yesterday, Jalor, without saying Muslims in particular, but saying minorities. But then in talk of minorities, we know where the reference falls to. So the fact is, even though the Congress has knocked the doors of Election Commission, there has been severe backlash in the social media, the Prime Minister has come up with a different talk today. It has not been given up per se.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't look so.
So the third, okay, fair enough. But there's a third contour to this conversation. One, will it enable Congress to do unapologetic secular politics, or will it lead to Hindu consolidation or a counter-Muslim consolidation in favor of the Congress party? And let me straight away go to Mr. Deshratan Nigam. Sir, in our discussion, the first point was, why did Prime Minister has to rake up an issue of 2014? Is it an issue that the guarantee is not working as an emotional chord? Is it an issue that the percentage was low? Why take an issue which was non-existent in the entire narrative or entire pitch of Bharatiya Janata Party during manifesto?
Well, Karthikeya, let me tell you what Rahul said or some of the leaders said of redistribution of wealth. Whose wealth will be taken? Are we living in a communist country where communists take over everybody's wealth and nobody owns any wealth and then redistribute it, given Congress's track record that the minorities and especially Muslims, what Manmohan Singh said as a Prime Minister, that the minorities, especially Muslims, particularly Muslims, he used the word, saying that they have the first right over resources. This is a natural corollary of that redistribution of wealth. And Prime Minister is a smart person. He will use it to one's own advantage, for the BJP's advantage. So therefore, you give something on a platter to the BJP and you expect Prime Minister not to respond. That's not possible. I think BJP and Congress or any other party in the Indian scenario where democracy is prevalent, parties are in competitive politics. You make one mistake, that will be utilized by the party opposite to you. And
But
therefore,
sir,
Prime Minister exactly
I'm not
did
interrupting you. You can add that to your answer. I mean to say there are Lakshman Rekhas in politics, but the Lakshman Rekha for the Prime Minister is something very important for every citizen of this country, because he is Prime Minister for each and every citizen. You know, he's not BJP's Prime Minister. He's my Prime Minister. He's Brajesh's Prime Minister. He's your Prime Minister. He's my country's Prime Minister. He's not BJP's Prime Minister.
No, understood. But the fact is, he's also campaigning for BJP. He's a dual role there. And whom did he quote? He quoted another Prime Minister in the context of putting, everything in context about what Rahul Gandhi said. So he quoted another Prime Minister, and that was the policy of the previous, UPA government in 2004 and 2009. So did he say anything wrong? He only quoted the earlier Prime Minister. There was no need for the then Prime Minister to do it. And then what is happening today? Rahul Gandhi goes and tries to contest an election from Wayanad, which is a Muslim-dominated area. So don't you think there is a pattern, and that pattern has been exposed by the Prime Minister? He is in a dual role today. Today he is campaigning for BJP's candidates. As a leader of BJP, a tall leader of BJP,
But
he is
is
campaigning.
there anything wrong in contesting from a Muslim-dominated area, sir?
No, there is nothing wrong. But look at the pattern. Muslims particularly have the first right over resources. You run away from Amethi, pick up a constituency which is Muslim dominated. So it shows your intention. Anybody can contest from anywhere. But the Prime Minister is exposing their intention. What is their intention behind it?
Okay, Mr. Jain, this provides an opportunity to the Congress party. Do you think that the Congress party is up to it? If I don't know whether you were in profession in 2005 or not, but in 2005 in Hyderabad, I was there. I covered that super plenary, and Rahul Gandhi said that national flag is my religion. And after that, what is the story? Then he became Janudhari Brahmin and then soft Hindutva, hard Hindutva. It gives an opportunity to do plain and simple constitutional politics. Do you think that the Congress is up to mark when it comes to this?
Kartika, absolutely. I think the Congress has learned from its mistakes that the way to move forward for the party in setting its narrative is not to embrace what the BJP is doing, but to stick to its core values, which are the values of secularism, neither to pander to the Hindus nor to pander to the Muslims, but talk about constitutional values. I think earlier on in the debate, you were asking what is going to be the effect of the Prime Minister's statement from yesterday. I think it'll be 2 or 3 things. One, it'll be the consolidation of the radical Hindu vote base of the BJP. I'm not going to say the Hindu vote base or the vote base of the BJP, but that small section of the BJP voters who like these sort of radical statements. Secondly, there would most likely be a consolidation of the Muslim vote base in favor of those parties or candidates who they think are going to, defeat the BJP candidate.
Okay.
Thirdly, so far as the Congress's strategy on this would be concerned, I think their reactions in the past day about this entire thing is, I think, clear. They're going to touch upon it, but not go to town with it. They're going to stick their ground on their welfare guarantees and things like that. We've already seen how the Congress dealt with it in Karnataka. When the BJP tried to flare up the issue of the hijab and all of that, the Congress stuck to its game, promising and thundering down its guarantees. And I think that's
okay. Sorry, Nikhil, I would have given you more time, but I'm really fallen short of it, and I would like to really profusely thank Mr. Nigam for joining my show. At the last minute so that we can get a proper perspective, why Prime Minister said this. Thank you so much, all of you. But I think the bottom line here is that this issue is not going to go anywhere, whether it's going to be like the 2017 Shamshan or Kabristan is something which the voters will have to take a call on. But then I personally believe that there are certain Lakshman Rekhas in politics which need to be kept. And, and I think the finest of them is not expected from every politician. The finest of it needs to come from the Prime Minister himself. But then, such is the nature of Indian politics. And yes, even till today, for one statement, of Manmohan Singh, Congress is still paying the price without thinking how it has impacted the majority community. So it's an important message that sometimes extreme minoritism also does not work in politics. And anyway, there is nothing called good minoritism or bad minoritism. Minoritism, majoritarianism doesn't work in good democracies.